Hello, and welcome back to that part of the podcast that's kind of like before the actual podcast. It's usually just like a goofy little clip of us, talking about butts or toilets or something like that, and then we giggle like little children. Normally that'd be here. That's not the case. Instead, have a bit of a preface for you for this episode. About 30 minutes in to the video, Kirby's video is going to cut off, so will mine. Kirby's video got messed up when we were doing the recording. Oops, what are you going to do? It's not a huge deal. The audio is fine, so you'll be able to listen. Close your eyes and imagine us talking and giggling as we are in the audio itself, and everything will be fine. By next episode, we're going to have that fixed. Just a couple, technical issues. Oopsies, again. Oh, well, it's fine. If you're an audio listener, nothing has changed, and we can get right into it. If you're a video watcher, I'll put something nice on the screen. Maybe. Something. Okay, here we go. Hello, welcome to Time Well Meant, the podcast where we're asking all these farmers, how exactly do you raise a boneless chicken? If you're new to the podcast, or if you're joining us again, we like to talk about a number of different things. We like to talk about the goings-ons of the internet, we like to talk about video games, and most importantly, we like to talk about mental health and how that relates to our personal lives. I'm Silas, and I'm joined as always by a man who is well-traveled and looking fresh. Looks like he got some rest after his travel. Kirby, how are you doing today, buddy?
Dude, doing fantastic, man. Killing it. How about you?
Dude, living the dream, day at a time, keeping it pushing. I don't know. It's going, my
Those
guy.
are all codes for something is terribly wrong.
No, it's just the normal kind of like, I don't know. I'm not gonna open a can of worms of my mental state right now, but it's definitely it's all right. I'm okay. To give you an exact of where I'm at, I'm not doing so bad that I'm destitute, but I'm also not doing so well that I'm ecstatic, right? I think we've talked before about coasting, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm just coasting, going day to day, trying to keep myself busy, trying to, find, I was about to say find purpose in this meaningless life, which is fucked up to say, but you just find, what needs to get done. You know what I mean? I really enjoy the concept of ebb and flow. There's an ebb and flow to everything. And I'm just working through that, man. Every day.
Ebbing right now.
I'm ebbing. Sometimes I'm flowing, sometimes I'm ebbing. Just kind of depends. Holy shit, man. But yeah.
Well, dude, I just got home from a little world traveling that I did,
I have to say, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way. SVU is great. So much of it watched. It's been 2 weeks. And this man, I feel like another thing that needs to be added to this podcast is the fact that I feel like every time that we started a podcast, you're like, I just got back from this place, or I just got back from this place. You're a traveled man. You're out here on the road, I'm a busy guy. This is totally normal for me. This is not an odd year that has never really happened before in my life. This is normal. This is absolutely normal. I hit Vegas one weekend. I'm in New York the next. I was in Tokyo. Yeah.
No.
Jet setting.
No. Yeah, just jet set. Dude, I'm lagged. I don't even know. I'm 3 hours behind right now, or 12 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
No, this whole thing is really, if any of our dear loyal listeners recall back from that Vegas episode, it was for I went to Vegas for the bachelor/bachelorette party, and the couple got married in New Orleans this past weekend, and it was sick. It was beautiful, man. New Orleans is wild. Have you ever been?
No. I've been to Louisiana. I've never been to New Orleans. So one of the
first and foremost.
Locations.
Louisiana police officers, they're fast as fuck, boy. I got a speeding ticket on the way there. Dude, he was way up ahead of me on the right side of the road, and I shit you not, the millisecond I spotted him, I saw him put his car in gear and turn the lights on, and then he just waited for me to pass him and then got right on my ass. It's like, damn, dude, he's quick.
Yeah.
Too quick. So that's fun. He was nice, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, man, New Orleans is a cool city. It's hell to drive around the French Quarter and kind of the downtown area.
I'm sure, yeah.
The streets are so narrow, and there's a jaywalker every 6 feet. It's crazy.
Have you been
But
before, or was this your first time?
I think I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I went once when I was a kid, but I
Okay.
barely remember it
Okay.
clearly.
So adult.
But then another time, I don't know, like 5, 6 years ago, as an adult,
Okay. Okay.
me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife,
Hell yeah.
we took a trip to New Orleans,
Okay.
for a music festival. That was pretty
Nice.
cool.
Hell yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, the city's cool. It's so beautiful. And then had a wedding. We did have our son with us, so I wasn't exactly partying it up every single night.
Yeah.
Got to be a responsible parent, so I was hanging out with him quite a bit. Him and I went to the aquarium. I'll
Sick.
have you know, my son is the size of a sea turtle.
Oh, hell yeah.
They had this like life size cutout poster thing, and he stood up against it with his arms out, and he's like perfectly sea turtle size, dude.
Just need to put a shell on him.
Oh, Halloween idea. Good job.
Boom, easy.
There we go. There we go. We hit up this shop called the Pepper Palace, which is just like a hot sauce and spicy
Okay.
things store.
Yeah.
It was sick, dude. You could sample everything. You could sample every single sauce and like
Interesting.
salsa and like pickles, all these random things they had. But dude, the guy that was working there cracked me up because my son was jokingly grabbed like the hottest sauce on the far end of the table, and he's like, "Dad, try this one." And this Indian dude who was working there was like, he had his back to us at the counter, and he just goes, "Be careful." And just like calmly and coolly. But he had this tone of voice as though if I did it and I fucked myself up, he just would have sat there and let it happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure. Well, I was going to say, I'm sure he's seen it like 100 times, a
I'm
thousand
sure
times. I'm
there
sure.
was. So we went one day, and I bought one bottle, and I tried a couple things, and I was like, I
Mm.
really like this one, but I'm just gonna buy this one. And the next day, my wife, she said, go back and just buy them both, whatever. We're on vacation, spend
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah.
So we go back, and it's like almost closing time, which I think it was like 9 p.m. And there's these drunk dude and I assume his wife, girlfriend, whatever, are in there, and she's telling him like, eat this one, eat this one, eat this one. And she gets up to the hottest one, and it's that same guy who was still working there, and he says something to the effect of like, "No, I'm not gonna let you have that one. Actually, it's too close to bedtime. That's not a nighttime sauce. You'll have a bad night."
Dude, what a guy. What a guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
dude. I got their
man.
business card. If anybody wants to hit up, I think they have a website, Pepper Palace in New
Pepper
Orleans.
Palace.
Good shit.
Hell yeah.
Really good shit, dude.
Hell yeah. That's sick, man. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I've traveled through Louisiana. Like I've driven through Louisiana. Again, just never somehow, some way I've just never one really had the because I think I got all my partying out like early 20s, where like now I'm just like, it's not really my scene to go out, like be on the streets or go like bar hopping or anything like that. Um, and so New Orleans has never really appealed to me as like a destination that I'd want to visit. You know what I mean? But I think it still would be cool as like a touristy kind of place, you know?
It's cool. I've got some pictures I can share, just like of like the river and the city and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to walk around. I did have the kiddo with me, so like I said, I didn't party too hard the first 2 nights,
Hmm.
but on Saturday night, so there was the wedding. It was
Uh-huh.
a beautiful wedding, dude. Got Yeah, they had these jalapeno margaritas, dude. I drank like 5 of them things. They
Whoa,
went
that
down.
sounds
They went
good.
down like water at this open bar, dude. I was dancing my ass off. That's how many drinks I had.
Oh yeah.
And then, so it's a New Orleans tradition. I'd never heard of this. They call it a second line parade.
Okay.
When you get married in New Orleans, you plan this ahead of time. You call up the local cops and you're like, "We're getting married. We're gonna request an escort." And you and your whole wedding party, however many people you want, and you get a band. So we had a 6-piece brass band, dude, trombone, trumpet, the drums, the whole thing. And you just do a parade of your wedding party through the streets, and the police block the streets off for
That
you
is
in the French Quarter.
awesome.
And the band's just playing, everybody's just dancing and like woo, just dancing and walking, and
Wow.
dude, it was fun as shit. That part was fun as
Wow.
shit.
Okay. That is so cool. It's so
And
funny. Okay, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and my son, being a little dancer that he is, dude,
Yeah.
dude, he was loving it. He was leading the parade, dude.
Sick. I was just about to say, you talking about dancing, I just think of your son dancing, because I feel like every event, wedding, whatever, where there's music, that dude's dancing. That man likes to
That dude's
dance.
dancing.
Listen,
I know.
hey,
It's kind of funny. He barely danced at the wedding because they kind of picked different. They had a live band, so it wasn't
oh,
like
okay,
bumping electronic music or anything.
yeah,
It was a live band. They played like some kind of like classic stuff. God, off the top, they played "Shut Up and Dance with Me,"
okay,
that type stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And he wasn't really digging it. He went outside and played with an airplane, and him and this other kid was playing with an airplane.
It's like, nah.
But the parade, I guess that hit the spot for him, dude. He was dancing his ass off. It was awesome.
Hell yeah. What I was gonna say earlier is that the only thing I know about that is there's a comedian named Hannibal Buress that,
Oh,
yeah,
Hannibal Buress, hell yeah.
he talks about going to New Orleans and doing that and calling ahead and getting a parade for himself. And he was talking about how like that's one of the greatest things in New Orleans that you can do. And I've always thought of it as like, yeah, that seems like it could be legit. And then hearing, that come to fruition is just always, hell yeah,
Dude,
that's sick.
all the way up until we got there and the parade kind of took off and started walking. I was like, I mean, I guess we'll do it. I don't really see the appeal, but okay, we'll walk in a circle. We're celebrating. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the jalapeno margaritas, but next thing I know, dude, I'm dancing down the street like, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, man, because I could talk a lot about like, there's definitely something that kind of happens when you're there in the moment, right? I'm the type of person that like, I don't like going out. If I had my drudges, I'd be at home all the time. I don't like going out. I don't like doing stuff. I'd rather just sit at my, and that's, people are different. Everyone's gonna have their own way of doing stuff. But the like to give you an example, when we had your wife's LAN party for her like birthday, I was so not ready. I didn't want to go. I told my girlfriend, I was like, I don't want to go. I don't. But I'm not gonna make an excuse because I've already been like, I'm gonna go, and I know my brain well enough to be like, once I get there, I'll have fun, which is exactly what happened. As soon as I like saw you in the window, I was like, we're good. I'm ready. You know what I mean? So like, but like the whole packing it, like everything before that. Same with QuakeCon. Anytime I do QuakeCon, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't want to do this for 4 fucking days or 5 days. Now it's gonna be 5 days this year. But like, I don't want to do this. I don't want, I don't want any of this. And then once I like drive into the Gaylord, I'm like, I'm in QuakeCon mode.
Let's
and
go.
I'm not
Yep.
leaving. Sunday, I'm like,
Until that last day when you're like, I'm dead. I gotta get out of
this
here.
place. I want to go home and lay in bed for the next 4 days. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know what that is, where it's just something in my brain where I'm just like, I don't want to do this. But I can totally relate to like, I don't want, what the fuck is the point of a parade? Or like, why would I want to do this? And then you get there, it's like, oh, okay. This is awesome.
It's awesome. Man, there's definitely something to that there. Like, I feel like I'm really bad about the same thing. I'll tell my wife, like, yeah, that sounds fun. We'll go do this event in 3 weeks from now. And my brain separates it. Like, that's a lifetime away. That'll never even get here.
Yeah.
And then the day comes, and I'm like, shit. I'd just rather stay here and play video games. But once you get there, it's usually chill.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mindset you kind of got to fight,
Yeah. It's, and I don't know what that is. I think it's a product of like getting older. Because when I was younger, I was just like, like I don't care. Like, yeah, let's go do this. Like, I think I was a lot more spontaneous too. Because nowadays, like if I don't have something planned out ahead of time, I don't do stuff last minute. I don't. It has to be something that I'm really looking forward to, or something that like kind of needs to happen. Like something that's kind of out of my control. Like someone like whatever. Anyway,
what if it's something that you were passionate about suddenly became an opportunity to you, and it's like, dude, tomorrow night you get to go see the Underachievers live.
I would say yeah. Like
instantly,
I was gonna say
right?
it have to. The thing about it is like it has to be something that I am genuinely passionate about. It has to be like it has to be like you get to go see like Schoolboy Q, the Underachievers, or like Tenacious D live.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Tenacious D.
Like that. Like those are really the only 3 acts that I'd be like, I'd go see it, because I've seen like a lot of my favorite artists already live. And
that has no effect on me at all. If you told me Norma Jean was in town and I got to be there in 30 minutes, dude, I'm not changing clothes. I don't give a fuck.
It's the same with my girlfriend in Comic Cry. She knows their schedule, and she knows when to be there. Like, it's just every time they're here, she's there. It's just, and there's a group of people that she meets there that she knows. Like, it's just, But I'm not that way. I think I look at like, so when I guess to give some context, when I saw Schoolboy Q live, not only did I see Schoolboy Q, but I saw another one of my favorite artists named Isaiah Rashad. Amazing show. I also saw Vince Staples before he kind of blew up. That was an amazing show as well. Like, we got there, and I got to, because I like seeing the openers, right? Because you never know, they could be awesome, could be your next favorite band.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah, and
sometimes they're not.
And Isaiah Rashad, I fell in love with after his live performance. But seeing Vince Staples and Isaiah Rashad, and then seeing Schoolboy Q, that was like the show to go to, because it was my favorite album of Q, which was Oxymoron, and it was just such an intense and amazing performance. Like I just, it was great. I wouldn't change it for the world, and I also wouldn't like, I wouldn't tarnish that by like, not necessarily tarnish it. Like, I mean, yeah, it could be another good show if I go and see him again. But I don't have that desire anymore. Like, I don't know. That's so weird. Like, I saw that one show and I'm like, this is like, that's fine with me. I'm satisfied. You know, like I'm satisfied with just seeing that. Again, the Underachievers, I would still love to go. I would make the effort to go see them if I had the opportunity and the ability to. And the same with Tenacious D, I think, where I'd be like, just to see them, right? And I don't need to go to every show.
Sure, with
but
Tenacious D.
yeah, just like once, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, yeah, cool, I went, that's awesome. Even if it's like nosebleed seats, it's like I was there when they're there. Being in the same building is kind of the cool thing, but then seeing them perform live is just like the extra, yeah. So
this whole tirade started from, would you go to a spontaneous event?
did it?
I was just saying, we got a little off topic there.
Did
we? Got
we?
a little off topic there.
Whatever. Yeah, I probably would. But, okay, again, well, no, I think like
it has to be good. It has to be good.
It has
no,
to be
actually,
really
I'm sorry.
good.
This
it can't be good. It has to be really good.
Has to be really good. And this all stemmed from me talking about New Orleans. So after the second line parade,
yes,
we kicked the kid off with a trusted person who was he was just gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
And we hit up Bourbon Street.
Hell yeah.
Which, like I said, my wife had gone out the prior 2 nights. They didn't stay out super late, but she went out with her friends and our friends. I stayed back at the kiddo, but on Saturday night I was ready to go, especially after all those margaritas. And then as soon as the parade was over, we got some daiquiris.
Yeah.
We went to one bar, then another bar, and then another bar. It's like 3:30 a.m. We get back to the hotel. Definitely have not gone that hard in forever.
Yeah.
One interesting point that I thought you'd find amusing is I met the biggest rapper from Houston, the biggest rapper in all of Houston. I met him at a bar in New Orleans. And that's what he told me. So it has to be true, I assume.
Who was it?
It was, I'm pretty sure his name, I might be messing this up, all right? I don't want to disrespect the man, but it was Jay Guzzler.
Never heard of him.
Pretty sure it was Guzzler. No, of course you've never heard of him.
Well, the way that you like presented it, I was like, was it like Zero or someone? Did you meet like,
No.
Bun B?
It was just some random dude in a bar
Okay.
who was right next to me when we were ordering drinks. And then he's like, get me one of those. So then my buddy Greg bought him one and we all 3 took shots. It was
That's funny.
And then he, just gets talking to the dude at the bar. We're all drunk. And he's telling me he's from Houston. Like, oh, we're from Dallas. He's like, oh, I'm the biggest rapper in all of Houston. He showed me a picture of him standing next to DaBaby.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, he's a pretty big. Well, he was a pretty big artist. I think his popularity has definitely declined in recent years. But
yeah, I don't know too much about it. But the whole time I was just like, are you really the biggest rapper in all of Houston standing here next to me?
No,
I know, but it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, you got me a little hyped for a second because I was like, did you really meet someone? And then because I feel like you wouldn't have the same appreciation that I would have. Especially now. Where
I
I'm
wouldn't.
Like, what? Like,
I wouldn't.
So funny.
Poor guy. It could have been. Who'd you say? Zero? I think I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's a huge.
I could have ran into him and
Houston
probably wouldn't have known
legend,
it.
honestly.
What if he told me? I was like, oh, cool. Have a good one.
Yeah. See ya. Take a shot with him, chat for like 5 minutes, be like, okay, bye. And then you come back to your fucking podcast and be like, yeah, I met this guy. I think his name was like Zero or something. I would probably drive to you and strangle you right now. Oh my god! Or if you're like, yeah, I met Bun B. It was so weird. It was like Bun C or Bun D. I don't know what it was. Bun B. I would lose my mind. Oh my god.
Bunky.
Yeah, Bunky.
We drove through a city on the way to New Orleans in Louisiana called Bunky, and I joked to myself, I was like, "Look, it's a video game Bunky." I found that hilarious. But yeah, so then after the wedding, got super drunk, stayed up super late, went to the hotel, got like 6 hours of sleep.
Perfect.
Woke up. Didn't feel terrible because I was very hydrated.
Yeah.
Didn't feel amazing, but I didn't feel awful. And we got the car, set the cruise control.
Oh shit!
Just a tiny bit over the speed limit this time instead of way over the speed limit.
Yeah.
And we cruised all the way home.
Damn, I didn't realize you left like right after. See, I would need a day of recovery, and I think that's because I just don't drink that often. But like the past couple times that I've gone kind of hard, I'm like, dude, I need a day. I need like, I needed a full day. There was I remember so vividly after the bachelor party when we
Oh
stayed out
yeah.
till like 5 a.m. or whatever it was drinking.
And then
And
we only got like 4 hours of
yeah,
sleep and woke up.
not
Oh
even.
god.
And then, but I remember getting in the car with Taylor and just being like holding my head like, oh God. And then I got home back to my girlfriend's apartment and I literally just like got all my shit in, said, see ya, Taylor, and then went straight to the bed and did not get up from that position for like the next like 3 days. I legitimately was like so out of it. My body was like shutting down. Never again. But I've also probably done like that level of intoxication again as well since then. So
Hell yeah.
just
Got to
oh
celebrate the good
man.
times, man. When you're in
Yeah.
New Orleans, hit Bourbon Street, have a few drinks.
Yeah.
When
I
you're in Vegas, you hit the strip, you have a few drinks.
yeah.
When you're in the middle of Oklahoma in a cabin with your
Yeah.
boys, you have more than a few drinks.
Yeah. Way more than a few drinks. God damn. Oh,
Hey,
that's yeah,
Silas,
that
you want a shot?
yeah, shot. Oh my god. It was such a great experience and a lot of fun. And I would do it all over. Like I would absolutely do it all over again.
We're going
Um
to do it again one day.
yeah, definitely. Um for whatever capacity it looks like, but it's just oh man, I want it to be fun and exciting and cool. And I think it will be. We just gotta do it again.
It will
Um
be. And we're going to plan it out. And come the day of, you're going to be like, wah, wah, wah. And
yeah.
then you're going to get
I
there.
don't want to
And
fucking
we're going to have a great
drive to a
time.
goddamn cabin in the middle of the fucking
Get,
woods. And then
get your bitch ass out
yeah,
there.
it'll be
Live
fine.
life, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I think, like when I look back, because like I feel like, oh man, I've wasted a lot of time like playing video games or whatever. But like I don't regret that. Like I don't regret spending so much time on the computer or spending so much time like because the way that I look at it is like a lot of the times when I'm doing this sort of stuff, I'm spending time with my friends. Like I'm, you know, and it's not in person. Like I know that some people like I have friends that post on Instagram or post on whatever social media or tell me about like, oh yeah, I went and did this with my friends or I'm doing this or blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's just not my thing. It's not my vibe. Like I'm cool with that once a month, you know. So sometimes really not even, but no, I'm cool with just like you know clobbering time
Do you.
and Marvel Rivals. You know what I mean?
Oh. Do you feel as though you're missing out on anything?
A little bit for sure. I mean, I'm definitely like I think it's more so that like I only feel like I'm missing out on stuff when I turn down opportunities, and it's one of those things where like if it's something that I really wanted to do, there was a meetup with some online friends that I was gonna do a while back, but due to just extenuating circumstances, I just couldn't go. It wasn't even that I didn't want to. I just couldn't. And I felt a little bit like, oh man, I would have liked to go and meet up with them. But I also thought about like, well, there was another opportunity to do so. You know what I mean? Like if I have some friends or someone that tells me like, hey, do you want to go do this? While I am kind of like definitely taking like for granted the situation because you never know what could happen. Tomorrow's never promised, which is just a
Mm-hmm.
realistic way of looking at things. But I always look at things as like it's going to be all right. Like we can reschedule. We can do this another time. I have some really good friends that I reconnected with over the past couple of years that have talked to me about like, oh man, I regret not getting to hang out more, not getting to do stuff more. And I'm like, dude, that's just life. Like if I get to see you once every 6 months, I'm cool with that. Like that's fine. That just means that I get to spend 6 months looking forward to that opportunity to find some free time within you. I was just talking to a buddy of mine recently. Like we got together and played some Rocket League, caught up, and it was one of those things where he's like, yeah, I'm busy till like May, and it's like that's cool, man. Like it's all good. I'm the type of person that's like I'm cool with waiting a little while. If it's because me right now, especially my schedule is wide the fuck open. So
But you
sure,
like it that way.
I do really like it that way. And I think
Yeah.
that's even if my schedule was a little bit or was tighter, like even uh when I didn't have as much free time, it's like I'll find some time. Like I'll still manage to find time for the things that I like, whether I like it or if I lose some sleep over it, oh well. Like
Definitely.
that's
There are some things you just got to make time for, though.
true. Yeah, absolutely. But no,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I think maybe when I was younger, yeah, I felt a lot of like FOMO and like, shit. But now that I'm older, like I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
You sound like an
Yeah.
old ass man.
Yeah, I keep changing. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of things change. Finally, one of the topics I wrote down. Um, Now like I feel like I'm getting more emotional, like, or at least I'm getting more like in tune with my emotions. So I watched a couple things. I watched a show, which also I need to talk about this. I need to go on a slight little side tangent.
No, are we about to talk about SVU?
No. We're gonna talk about a different show.
Okay.
But one thing I realized about TV shows in general, and I kind of think why I like movies more than shows, is because I don't watch shows. Well, I guess I do watch shows like normal people where I just binge it. I'm not going to just sit there. I'm not going to skip anything. Like I'm 17 seasons into fucking SVU and I have to take breaks because I can't, you know what I mean? Like I can't, the moment I watch one episode, I'm watching like 7 episodes, right? That's just how my brain operates. Okay. If I'm going to sit down and watch something, I'm going to watch it until I go to bed, essentially, which is why I just don't watch shows. If I watch a movie, that's like 2 hours and then I'm done. And then I move on to whatever's next, hour and a half, whatever. So I think that's kind of the thing where like, cause I watched this show on Netflix called Sanctuary. It's about sumo wrestling. A little overacted, a little kind of whatever. It's not the best show, but I really enjoyed it. And the ending, there's an ending scene. I'm spoiling part of the ending, but I'm not going to tell you the character, so it doesn't matter. There's a hair cutting scene that's really like, I guess sumo, like I know in Japan in general, I think hair can be kind of a very big thing in terms of like, if you're in like an honorable position. I know, I guess with sumo wrestlers, it's like a really big thing for like you're not or whatever. It's a whole ceremony that he had with like the haircutting thing. Anyways, it was a really emotional scene, and I was like welling up, like tearing up, and like crying a little bit. The other thing that I watched was Lars and the Real Girl, which is about this guy who I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know what the movie I'm talking about.
Is that the one where he has like the sex doll wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes through the whole like life cycle of having, she showed up, she's from Brazil, and like, the town. I think the thing that like fucks me up about the movie, the most unrealistic aspect of it is the town like starts accepting the doll. She at one point she gets appointed to like a school board or some shit like that. The doll does, right? Which I just find hilarious. Because I just think about like, man, if that were to happen in like a real small town, especially today, that person would be shunned into inexistence, right?
Shunned.
No way that anybody is allowing that to happen. But these people, they hold like a funeral when she died, like shit, just crazy. You know what I mean?
When she dies.
Yeah, dude. And so, but I also at the end of that movie, I kind of teared up a little bit. I was like, what the fuck, man? And it's one of those things that like I never really thought about it until now. That like, this was not something that happened when I was younger. I could watch emotional movies. When I watched The Whale, that was another movie that, oh my God, just brought me to fucking tears, And I'm not like ugly crying and sobbing, but I am like welling up and tearing up and, crying a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is, man. That it's something that I think as a man, you look at it and you go, maybe everyone's raised differently, but I think in the kind of the general terms, when you see a man show some form of weakness or like crying or something like that is what it is. It's showing weakness. It's being weak. It's like being inadequate or whatever. As a human, when you show emotions, I feel like that's like a supernatural thing, but it's a weird kind of dichotomy of like, I almost feel a little bit weird. Like, man, why am I crying with The Whale? Absolutely. I understand why. But with like some of these other movies, like with Sanctuary, that one scene of them doing the haircutting ceremony, yeah, it was supposed to be an emotional scene. It's supposed to kind of, pull at your heartstrings, but it just didn't feel like it was something that I needed to like, but I did feel at the same time, like I need to let out some tears, man. I know what's up with that. But I don't know. And I think I attribute that to like, it's a bit of a product of like, I'm getting older and I'm, maybe allowing my emotions to flow a little bit more or something. I don't know what it is, man. It's very odd to me.
I think as the years go by, you experience more of life and like love and loss.
Maybe.
And you kind of see the value or you see the importance of the people around you in these relationships and things like that. Because at least, I mean, so my example of that in myself was prior to my son being born. I don't think anything ever made me emotional. Watching any drama, sad movie, people, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a movie. Who gives a shit? It's all fake. I explicitly remember after my son was born, like within the first year, I think it was Game of Thrones, and there's like a scene where they start killing all the babies, and I was sitting there welling up, dude. I was like, that's people's kids.
Damn.
Oh, dude, I got that one manly tear, you know.
Yeah.
And that was when I was first like, holy shit! Like I felt what you're describing of, am I getting weak? What's going on
Yeah.
here? And it's definitely just persisted on in my life ever since that time. Another great example my wife loves to give me shit for. One of the first movies we ever watched together was The Mist
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, that movie blows because the end. I don't. Fuck it, it's an old movie.
I was
It's
gonna
like
say
the
that's like
dad and
yeah.
he has to shoot his son, and I'm sitting there like, this is like one of our early dates, and I'm like, what the, dude?
Had you never
She
seen
loves
the
to give me
movie
shit for
before?
that. I'd never seen
Oh,
it. I had no
man.
idea.
Yeah.
And then she showed me that, and I just sat there like stunned in silence for a minute after the credits rolled. She's like,
Yeah.
"You okay?" Like, mm-hmm, totally fine.
Yeah.
And she still gives me shit for that.
The Mist is definitely that ending is fucked up. I guess to give more context to the people who've never seen it, he does that. So not only does he kill his son, but he kills his love interest and then like the other people that are with them. And then it's not even like 5 minutes later, he's sitting there like breaking down. The mist clears and the army shows up. And it's like,
And they're like, "You're all
oh
safe
my
now. Everything's
God."
over.
Like, yeah. And it's like, oh, Jesus. Like, and the main thing, so he was going to take himself out. He ran out of bullets. And so it's just
Use
like,
the last one on the kid,
oh, man.
because that's love. That's fatherly
That's
love. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well,
That movie sucks ass.
yeah. I think that's one of those scenarios that, my mind always puts myself into those scenarios. Like, what am I going to do if some like evil mist shows up and there's creatures in it? How am I going to survive? No clue. I'll probably die. But it's one of those things that like, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough situation. If you're like run out of food and run out of options and you're just like run out of gas, you're stuck in this mist. It's either die to the monsters or, choose your own ending. I don't know what to do. That's
Choose your own adventure.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of the rugby team from, I believe, Brazil that was flying somewhere and crashed in the Andes Mountains and spent like days up there, and they had to start eating each other?
It's funny that you say that because there's a movie on Netflix that keeps popping up on my like recommended, and it's that
I've never
same
seen the
story.
movie.
Yeah, I've never either.
I've listened to a podcast that was like really in depth and detail about it, and they mentioned the movie several times. But those are like what do you do in those situations, man?
Like
if you and me and the boys are
guess.
stranded on a mountain and one of us falls over dead, are we gonna eat him?
Before he becomes like all gross and decayed, probably. I don't know, I think about like all the oh man, I can't remember how I came across this information about
Which of our
like
friends do you think would taste the best? Sorry, go on.
trying to think about our friends' diets. Not Taylor. That man's putting all sorts of stuff into his body that I don't know where it's been. But there was I can't remember if it was a video or an article. I don't remember where I got this information about whalers that would go out to sea and spend months whaling and bringing whales back. Anyways, but there's one story of these folks that did that, and the process that they went through of like surviving, because they ended up shipwrecking when it happened.
Oh yeah.
And they went through this whole process of like surviving, and it was like, they like one by one started eating each other, and it was like, the after effects of that is so intense and like so like I think unless you like want to eat people, I don't think it's something that you can really come back from, right?
Yeah, that seems like one of those bridges you can't uncross.
No, yeah. There's no amount of therapy that can be like, I had to eat my buddy because we were gonna die and I didn't want to. Starvation's a hell of a thing. The human body and like responses to different things is definitely kind of fucks me up in terms of like, man, I couldn't imagine how I would if I were put into that situation. I think everyone wants to say they would take the moral high ground, or they would act in a way. It's like anytime any sort of situation happens where it's like, oh, well, this happened, I don't know. I can't think of an example right now, but like I had to eat somebody, right? But it's like, well, put yourself in that situation realistically. Don't go at it from like I'm
Yeah.
sitting, I just ate a fucking Big Mac and fry, a whole meal, and I'm sitting here fucking eating popcorn watching this fucking YouTube video. Like, I wouldn't fucking do that. No one, you're not fucking perfect, bro. Like, whatever. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's something to that where I don't know. I think that there's something kind of like lost in translation when we view it from an outside perspective versus like when you're there in it. You know what I mean?
There's probably no real way to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah. Unless you
Like
like get
realistically,
in
you
that
can't
situation.
experience
Yeah.
it until you experience it.
Yeah.
So I booked us a flight. We're going right over the Andes Mountains.
Just you and me, bud.
No, well, you're gonna have to bring some friends for any particular reason.
Oh man, I think about yeah, I don't know. I think that's the best sort of way to figure out who your real friends are. Who's like, I mean, because obviously, like, if someone's injured, that they're probably like first on the chopping block. Like, if we got out of that plane crash and like my leg's broken, I'm like, just do it now, brother. I
Just
don't.
take me out and eat me.
Yeah, just do it now. Stick my body in the ice so that way it'll hold. But
Yeah, keep
after
you
after like
fresh.
after like day 3 and or after like what day 4 or 5, if we run out of the little packs of nuts and stuff, dude. If my leg's all fucked up and
Nothing
nobody's
but.
come by then,
I never thought about that. If you're on a plane and it crashes, you got nothing to eat but pretzels and liquor.
you never played the forest? You never played the forest where you're like,
Oh yeah,
as soon as the plane crashes, you're like, we gotta grab all these meals, guys. Grab the little travel size bottles of alcohol. Get the fuck out of there.
no.
Find those cannibals and shit. And your son, I don't know.
I can't remember how that game ended. Do you find the sun?
Yeah, but he's all fucked up. He's got like weird
Oh,
shit.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And then it leads into the next
Classic.
game where I don't think they ever address that. I don't remember. I didn't finish The Forest 2.
I finished the second one, not the first.
That's really funny. The first one's really good. I like the second one too. I think I haven't gotten into that like, man, I want to play that, right? I've been in a weird like, and this has kind of been that way forever, but like usually I'll play a couple different games a year, but I have a couple consistent games that I play regularly, like I can just fall back on. Right now it's like Rocket League and Rivals basically and Deadlock. Um but I've also like recently been really into like older games. So like I've been playing I think we talked about this, like I played The Godfather, the game, and then I also
Oh
have
yeah.
been playing Mercenaries, really enjoying those games. There's something about those games that I don't know if it's the nostalgia aspect of it or if it's just they're just fun in general. But I've been having a great time with those games. And then also there's a game that I saw called Beta Decay that's coming out, I think in July or June, that has that aesthetic. It has that like older kind of like Metal Gear Solid PS1 aesthetic, but with like modern controls and like modern like engines. And they focus so much more on the actual like gameplay at least to my knowledge. Obviously I haven't gotten my hands on the game, so I don't know fully, but it looks like it focuses a lot more on the actual mechanics of the game versus like the graphics themselves. Because if you look at the game, just stills of the game, it looks dated, it looks old. But like when you look at all the stuff that you can do within the game, it looks pretty interesting. It looks like there's a lot more depth. I believe it's an MMO, so it's going to be, pretty interesting.
Oh, it's an MMO. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's essentially going to be like a player. Well, to my knowledge, I haven't done enough research to fully know everything about the game. To my knowledge, it's like an MMO because they talk about like the player driven economy, and I think it's gonna be more like a Destiny style MMO where it's like a lot of PVE, a lot more PVE elements versus like PvP and stuff like that. But like, yeah, if you want to, you don't, there's a lot of like PvP or PvE esque stuff that you can do, but there's also like if you want to just do some like menial labor type of shit, if you want to do some more
Hell
like
yeah.
whatever,
That's
if
my
you want to
jam.
like run shops or whatever, like that's you could absolutely do kind of, you choose your own path. That's the kind of aesthetic of it. It's supposed to be like a cyberpunky kind of vibe to it, which I really really like. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that has to offer. But yeah, I don't know, man. Have you been playing anything else other than driving truck and kicking butt?
No, we enjoyed, dude. I had so much fun last night with the Rocket League April Fools.
Yeah, the driving
That was
backwards and stuff.
phenomenal, dude. And the funniest thing about that is, they had a limited time mode, and we didn't know what it was. And you, me, and TJ joined in, and the first thing one of you said was, "This looks totally normal. Like it was a normal map. Everything looked normal." And then as soon as the timer started, I reversed because I was in the back to go to the goal, and then y'all are just like, "What the fuck?" And it turns out you can't drive forwards in that game mode. You can only drive in reverse.
Yeah, and we beat like
And
it was
then
like a 3v7.
yeah, people just kept leaving. People would join and within 20 seconds be like, "Oh, this is stupid,"
Yeah.
and leave. So it was you and I and TJ. We hung in there the whole game and rotated through like 7 opponents. There was just that one guy who hung in until it was like 10 seconds left, and he finally
He
left.
finally, yeah, we finally got because he was ahead like 4-1, and then we brought it back and somehow.
That's
But
right.
I,
That's right.
I feel like the most fucked up part of that is we went to play regular Rocket League after that, and I'm like, immediately was like, it feels so weird to drive forward now. Like, oh man.
The quick chats though, those
Oh
are good. We should have pulled up a list. Those are
yeah,
so funny.
I wanted to
Like when
call
you
you about your
said what a
car.
save, it would say the sun was in my eyes.
Yeah, sun was in my eyes. There was if you said sorry, it said training arc. I know that
Yeah.
WoW was like we want to talk to you about your Rocket League car's extended warranty or something like that. This is Rocket League was put your hands up if you like Rock League or something like that. So stupid. It was great. It's one of those things. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was awesome. I don't know what exactly about it, but just that fun little goofy. Everything was goofy and silly when we were playing last night. I think we won most of the games we played, but we were
Yeah,
just
we
having a
did.
good
Yeah.
old time.
Yeah.
All the quick chats were goofy, driving in reverse, just
It's
good old fashioned gaming April Fool's fun.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's one of those things where like April Fool's is one of those holidays where you don't really think about it until it's here and you're like some companies or whoever like I always do the thing where like I'll like text my girlfriend like I'm pregnant and like that's my April Fool's joke, whatever. Cause I just
Ooh,
you know
how many times has she fallen for it?
never. I'm gonna get her one of these days. One of these days. But no,
Tell her it's not hers.
then she'd kill me.
You got pregnant with another woman's baby?
Yeah. No, it's yeah. It's just one of those like unnecessary holidays. I feel like at this point, like I don't know many people who are like, I love April Fools. Yeah, it's silly. It's a little, I guess it's a day to be like, eh.
You
I
can
know
see
that.
all the goofy headlines.
Yeah, yeah. The goofy headlines are kind of fun. Um, the one of the things that so after you went to bed, me and the rest of the boys played some Helldivers. And what Helldivers did is they took a couple of guns and just upped the sizes of them. So that you had like these giant. You had this one gun, which is like the revolver. It's called the Senator, and it was like the size of your fucking like thigh. It was so big. It just looked so goofy.
Dude, oh man, I played around with y'all last night. I didn't see any of that.
I didn't notice it until Tyler joined us later on, and I was like, why is your gun so big? And I was like, because the thing about it is since our buddy Ramsey started playing, we've been experiencing like all these like weird bugs, and so I was like, oh, must be just like I don't know what they're fucking up over here. This company's going crazy now. The model size of the weapons are all fucked up, but no, it was an April Fool's. We found out later because then our buddy Crisis joined and it was like, oh, it's a fucking it's an April Fool's thing. Because then he pulled out this other weapon and it was it was like fucking huge. It looked like a fucking inflatable like toy gun that you get or something like that. It was just so funny. But
Dude,
I'll
I'm
tell
so
you.
sad I missed
Oh,
it.
go ahead.
I just said I'm so sad I missed that.
Oh, it was good. I was gonna say there's a game that got announced. That a lot of people thought was an April Fool's joke, and I didn't know if you had heard about this. Did you know there's a new Power World game coming out?
I did not hear
So-
anything about this.
Oh, I am so glad. I am so glad. I'll give you the title, and I think it's gonna give you everything that you need to know. It's called Power World More Than Just Pals.
Okay.
Do you want to take a guess at just the genre of game that it is?
A dating sim?
Yes, it's a dating sim. So it's one of those games that like Apparently it got announced the day before April Fool's, but everyone thought it was an April Fool's joke. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is really funny. Power World's doing a little goofy thing." Came out with the trailer and everything, right? It's not. It's a real game. The developers have said, "No, it's a real game," and it's hilarious. It's the funniest shit to me that of all the games to come out and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a dating sim." Power World's the one where it's like, "You sure about that, bud?" And I'm gonna throw some of the
Are
stills
you
up now.
dating the pals
Yeah.
or like?
Well, it's a mix. It's a mix of the pals and the trainers. Yeah. Yep. And let me tell you, I feel like I really need to show you the trailer. I honestly want to get your honest reaction to the trailer at some point because
Should I just watch it?
This is our first reaction. No. I'll tell you what. For homework, I'll have you. We'll bring this back up in the next episode, and I want you to give me your honest reaction of the because I watched the trailer and was like, oh my fucking god. There's no. I thought it was gonna be way more. I'm gonna tell you right now. I thought it was gonna be way more tame than it is. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Excuse me. Yeah.
Is this an adult game?
I'm starting to feel like it might be, but I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know. It definitely leaned more that way.
Well, now you have my interest.
It's again. Oh fuck, man! I really want to hold on. Let me see if I can find a still just to show you. Oh man. Oh man. There's a one still in particular. This one.
Do you get to? I don't know about this.
You know what? It's funny is I'm not going to. I'm gonna show a blurred image of this version or of this. Where are we? I gotta make sure I don't post the wrong fucking channel. Here you go. I'm putting it in Kirby's Worst Nightmares because it's where it belongs. There you go. This is a still from the game itself.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna put it up here, but I'm gonna blur out.
I mean, it's not explicit.
Do you think I'll just put it up here? Why not? This is the image that Kirby is looking at right now.
When you stroke right there. Ah. Dislike. You've lost my interest. That's insane, dude.
Oh man.
You're gonna stroke the fucking pals?
Yeah. That's a real game. This is a real game, by the way. This is like, it's not a fucking meme. It's a real game. It kind of makes me want to play Power World again, honestly. They've had a lot of updates to that game. I need to catch up. Play some more.
I could play. I've never played.
It's a fun game. Honestly, like legitimate, like beyond the fucking meme of this, it's actually a legitimately fun game. It's one of those, it's a very like chill game. It's very much like you just run around shooting fucking Pokemon basically, and like you get guns, you get Pokemon that get guns, like grenade launchers and shit, and fly around and do all sorts of great crazy shit. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Honestly.
Okay. How many people can play that at once?
I think 4. You can do, and you know what's funny too is that we have the server computer. We could probably set up a standalone server, or a perpetual server, so that we could just hop on and hop off at any point in time. Do like
could be fun.
You, me, and a couple others, and just fucking yeah. And it's not one of those games that like you have to take very intensely. There's definitely a little bit of grinding aspect because you want to like get upgrades and level up and but I mean it's kind of like if you like, I don't know if you've ever played any of the Pokemon games. But if you like Pokemon games, or just like
most Pokemon games,
yeah, just like battling and catching, then yeah, you'll enjoy this game. It's essentially the same thing. There's some cool added bonuses where like you have dungeons. They added in like raid bosses where like, you know, so like you have actual in-game stuff to do. You know, there's all the different environments that you can go to and discover all the different areas and just stuff like that. It's a cool game, honestly. Like when you really look at it, it's like it's what you would want in a Pokemon game. Right? I think even if you took the guns out and you would just be like, hey, an open world, like walk around and fight, you know, use your Pokemon to fight other Pokemon. It's a cool concept. Like, you know, it's fun and yeah, play with your friends. It's got a lot of really cool things. And you could build bases and do all that other sort of shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Valheim with Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, legitimately. And it's fun. It's just a fun game. You know, can't go wrong with Pokemon with guns. You know what I mean?
I feel like I got it on Game Pass at one point and it didn't launch or something, and I just immediately gave up.
That's funny.
It's the kind of person I am.
Yeah. What was the? Oh man, what was the game that you were like? I can't remember if it was Elden Ring or Sekiro or one of those that you were like. I played
I
20 minutes of
think
it and
it
then immediately
was.
refunded it.
I think it was Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the Souls games,
Pretty
and then
sure.
I know that.
Pretty sure that Taylor bought it for me, and he
Mm,
was like, "Don't worry, we'll carry you through it." And then the whole thing was you just had to get past the first boss to get to the point where you could play multiplayer.
yeah,
And I tried several times. I was like, "Nope,
yeah.
not
Nope.
interested.
I remember that.
I'm a
Yeah,
big baby. I just don't care for the.
that and
Do
then
not care for it."
yeah, that one and then No Man's Sky. I remember you said you played like 20 minutes or like an hour or something like that. And you're like, and I refunded it. I didn't want it.
I bought that game the like night it launched
Yeah,
and played for like an hour and a half, and then I might have continued playing. I didn't absolutely hate it, but I was like, I'm not spending $60 on this. I'm still in the refund window, so see ya.
see ya. Yeah. Now that game is amazing.
And then I ended up buying it years later and playing it. So
it's so good.
yeah,
They've added so much, especially the most recent updates have been just so amazing. The fact that
I
they keep updating that game is crazy to me.
I've definitely not played in
Oh,
a couple years.
I feel like when you played, were there freighters? Because you have your own freighter.
The Raiders?
Yeah, so like a fucking Star Wars like battleship kind of fucking thing.
Yeah,
Dude,
I don't
yeah.
think so.
I still to me one of my favorite things about No Man's Sky as in terms of aesthetics. Like we were talking the other day or just yesterday actually, me and the boys were talking about how there's certain games that are so needlessly aesthetic without even trying. Helldivers is absolutely one of those where like you'll be fighting an enemy, there's an explosion that comes out, and then through the fire like some enemy will like fly through and like charge at you or something. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff just happens all the time in that game. It's just built that way, and it's just so meaninglessly aesthetic. One of my favorite aesthetics from No Man's Sky is looking up into the sky, calling in your freighter, and it fucking coming in, like warping in right above you. And the sound and everything is so satisfying where it's like this doom. And it's just like, oh, yeah. And then you get in your ship, you like fly up and so cool, man. Such a cool fucking aesthetic. And you can go and like, if you like leave that planet and go to another planet, or you're like flying around the planet, when you get back to your freighter, it's just there like hovering like just out of orbit. It's like, oh, so cool. Oh man. I love No Man's Sky. It's a great game.
That does sound pretty good.
I'm telling you. Just
Kind of just makes me want to go back and play Elite Dangerous, though.
Of course. Of course.
Elite Dangerous is the king.
No. But
That game has been
should-
out for I think 10 years now.
Has it?
And
Goddamn.
when it first started, there was no intergalactic war with the aliens, the Thargoids. And then they introduced the Thargoids that were going to like encroach upon humanized, colonized civilization. And then we spent 7 years fighting them back, and now they're finally vanquished.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like after 10 years, they finally did the update. It's like, you beat them. You drove them back. Now they're just over here, and they're going to stay in their little zone because we beat them or whatever.
Damn. That's kind of crazy.
Pretty cool. And then they added some like colonization aspects where you can start expanding humanity now.
Oh, that's really cool. I was gonna say, I will say I do like. I think about like Destiny. As shitty of a fucking game as Destiny is, but I think one of the things that I do like is the progression, and you get to see where we came from when you look back, and then how the game kind of progresses, and a story that follows through. I think about like other games where it's like it's just a perpetual like we're just fighting these people and that's it. There's no real excuse. It's just we're fighting to fight, or there's maybe a very brief and light story, and not all games need to have that, right? But to see progress is really cool over time. That's sick as fuck.
Helldivers does a good job of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Having there's little things that allow you to feel like you're contributing to a story and feel like you're contributing to a cause. Definitely, yeah, absolutely feels really good. Working together as humanity versus all of the enemies of humanity. Feels very Warhammer-esque, but also just
spreading
so
democracy.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. Very cool. Very cool.
Just because we're so on the topic of games right now, we've talked about Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Have we talked about it on the podcast? I feel like maybe we have.
I don't think we're talking about it on the podcast.
Oh man, this is a good time to call out Kevin for being way too good at Ultimate Chicken Horse and making me hate the goddamn game.
He is way too good. But honestly, I beat him all the time. He's
Do
really not
you?
that good. So, oh yeah,
Well, clearly he's better than me because every time I play with him, I'm like, God fucking damn it, fucking quit it.
you gotta practice. You gotta practice.
Is it one of those games that you just got to play it more and get better? Oh God.
Yeah, it is. It totally is, man. There's little things like the first time you see there's like a black hole obstacle,
Uh-huh.
and then you're like dealing with that, and then somebody puts the crossbow that shoots arrows. But if you set it just right, the arrow will fly and then get caught in the gravitational field
Oh.
of the black hole and curve. So the
Oh
first time
yeah.
you see that, you're not ready for that arrow to curve around and smack you from a whole different angle. But then you learn that, and then you're the guy placing the black hole and the arrows, just planning to hit you in the head and laugh at you.
Yeah. I think my first couple times playing it, I don't think I ever even played it with anybody other than like you and Kevin. And every time I'm just like, I hate this game. I don't.
TJ loves that game.
I don't know if I played with TJ. Maybe I did. I think that game has Kevin written all over it. Where he's just like that game was made for him. You know what I mean? In terms of like our trolliest of friends, that game was fucking made for him. I love Kevin to death, but that motherfucker, I can't play that game with him ever again. And it's funny too because I know that he loves it. He loves the game, and I know that y'all are both looking forward to.
So much fun.
I just don't like
There's
fun.
something about you, Silas. Yeah, you don't like fun. You don't want to play. You want to play nothing but competitive games, but you won't play them with your friends.
Because I don't want to be mad at my friends. Like
sometimes you're gonna lose. It's gonna happen.
no, some of my least favorite times with Rocket League are like when people are like if you, me, and TJ and Zach are like, oh, let's do twos, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna do it because I know that you guys want to do it, and if I leave, y'all are just gonna play threes, but I want to play Rocket League and I want to play with my friends, but I don't want to go against you guys because I love you guys, and I also like. It doesn't feel good to win against my friends. It feels good to win against like random fucking people.
It
doesn't. Okay, let me rephrase that. It
feels
doesn't feel good to me
because we're just goofing around. We're just having some goof. We're just goofing and gabbing, bro.
I don't have. It's why I never did well with like Mario Party. I don't. I want to win, and I want to win handily. I don't want to like. I'm not a very good loser when it comes to like losing certain games, especially like party games for some reason. And I don't do like it's completely different if you're playing with someone young, right? If you're playing with like your niece or nephew, that's completely different. Where like I'm completely fine with losing, but like if it's my friends and like they get any inch of competitive, I have such a competitive spirit that I'm like I want to fucking win, right? But I don't want to beat my friends because that feels fucked up, right? If I play a game,
feels good.
Like when I would play Overwatch, if we had a ton of friends together and we were like, yeah, we're gonna do competitive sixes, I'd be like, cool, I'm gonna play my worst heroes, because if I play my mains, it's just not gonna be competition. It's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be me shitting on my friends, and that doesn't feel good for anybody, right? At least to me. I don't know, I have a weird brain.
Yeah, you do. Just play games with your friends and have fun. It's a very simple concept.
Well,
I play party animals.
I think
you smack each other with that big lollipop thing.
Yeah, I think like that. I think I don't even think I own party animals, but I think games like that where you're like whacking your friends around and shit like that, that's fun. If it's something that's silly, but like there's certain games that just aren't silly to me, and that it just pisses me off. I don't know.
You're telling me Ultimate Chicken Horse is not silly?
Oh, I'm
Say
sure.
those words to me.
I'm sure it is very silly. It's just not silly to me. I don't like it. It's silly in the way that I don't like. Listen, my brain just doesn't. I might have a little bit of autism or something because my brain just doesn't fucking work like that, bro. I don't know. It's really hard for me to be like. It's one thing if we're playing like if we're doing competitive or like friend in-house threes or something like that. You know what I mean? And we're doing it Rumble style. That is more fun to me than doing like regular threes where it's actual skill involved. If we add that element of randomness, suddenly, yeah, it becomes like goofy and fun. I can understand if we're warming up for a tournament or whatever. But like, to me, it's just, there's a very weird line in there where it's like, as soon as I cross it, it's like, it stops being fun for me. And now I'm just here playing the game, like in this weird kind of like space of just like, I'm not really a huge fan of this, but I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy spending time with my friends.
What about when we played Soul Calibur?
Okay. Here's the thing about Soul Calibur. I'm not very good and you're not very good, and that makes a big difference. Okay?
Yeah, but I stomped you like every single time.
No, you did not. Shut up. There's video proof of me stomping you, but then there's also not video proof of the night before where I stomped you even harder. Anyways, completely different.
But I recorded the night after where I stomped you the most hard.
we ended 2-2.
And I'll be releasing that right now, live on YouTube.
Yeah. Imagine. No, like it's different because Rocket League is a game that you and I both have a collective of like over 4,000 hours, right? Like collectively, you and I combined have multiple thousands of hours in that game. You and I have spent a lot of time in that game. We know a lot about the game. We know a lot of the strategy. We know a lot about just playing that game at a higher level than like most normal people, right? The fucking average, Joe Schmo who comes home from work and gets a fucking hour in after work, and it's like, well, what do you do? Is probably not nearly as good as us. Okay. I'm sorry. They're probably like gold 2 and it's really hype when they go to gold 1. Okay. For us, it's like, I got placed in diamond, whatever. Or like I'm champion, whatever. Like, anyways.
Fair.
We played that at a much higher level. Soul Calibur, I hadn't played that game. I never played that game competitively. And another thing too with fighting games, I'm completely content with playing fighting games because I know I'm not going to be good at them. And I know I'm just going to mash buttons and just like, I'm going into that with the mentality of like, I'm not going to be very good at this and it's okay. And I can't explain why my brain does that. It just does. Like, and I think a big thing too is like if I played Tekken against my buddy Ryan, I already know I'm gonna get my fucking ass whooped. But I'm going into that knowing that, right? I'm going into it, if we play a fucking party game, I have no clue what's happening and I'm just losing every goddamn round. To me, that's just not fun, Or if I play a game that, like if we play like Overwatch and I have 2,000 hours compared to somebody who has like 30 hours and I'm just fucking Genji like dashing through everyone and getting Nano Blade and fucking wiping out their whole team every single fight. To me, that's just not fun, It's just not, I have a weird way of having fun and those aren't ways of having fun. I was like, I don't want to just lose every time. I want to be able to win every once in a while, but also I don't want to feel bad when I win. So I don't know.
You just can't be pleased.
I can't. But that's why I like games like Helldivers or like Monster Hunter, like
Us versus the Squids.
Exactly. Us versus whatever, or like competitive games. I love, like if we play Marvel Rivals together, I love playing with my friends and I love blaming everyone that isn't my friends. I always feel bad when I'm like, I don't know who my friends are playing. So I actually call them out. I'm like, nah, but it's okay. Cause whatever you got caught out, it's fine. But then if we have like a Luna Snow who's just not healing me as optimally as they should, then I'm like, this person fucking sucks and they should be doing better. Yeah. Dude, get that. You see that Spider-Man that was like flying through at 1,000,000 miles an hour? Why didn't you freeze him, huh? What the fuck is going on with that? Loser, come on, And then, of course, the other team is like hacking because fuck them. They're way too good for quick play. Or they're like Smurfs. Sweating. Yeah, dude, fucking losers. Anyways. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I don't know. My brain just, we've said it a million times, I think for both of us, that our brains work in very odd and mysterious ways. But I think mine in particular is just like kind of fucked up. I don't know.
It's kind of fucked up. I guess we're all unique and find fun in our own ways. Luckily for me and most of our boys, we can just play games and have fun. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's wrong with you, bud.
I don't know. I think it's the same as like golf with your friends. I've never had fun. I think the first couple of times that like I whacked my friends aside, it's like, okay, that's fun. But then like again, I just want to win, so it stops being fun after a while. I'm just like, this is not for me.
Man, we need more like large party games like that can be played at LANs.
I agree that we do need more like kind of larger party games. But again, I also just like the aesthetic of like, let's work together and let's do some crazy wacky shit. And if we fuck with each other along the way, like hitting your friend off of a big cliff in Minecraft is funny. If I get hit off of a big cliff in Minecraft, I'm gonna laugh at that, right? But we're not explicitly going against each other. We're probably working together to build some shit at the end of the day, right? So it's one thing like fuck with your friend, or like if we're playing Helldivers, and I get fucking like someone drops
like
a 500 kilogram
in the car
bomb.
And somebody turned and shot you.
That's funny to me. Like it's like it's an accident, whatever. Or if we're just like intentionally like just blowing each other up every now, whatever. It's take a moment to fuck each other up. I'll bring in some extra revives. It's fine. But just the outright competition of like I want to beat you, and I want to win against you. It's just I don't.
But that's the thing, Silas. I want to beat you, and I want to win against you.
I don't. Just I love
and
you,
I will.
And I don't want to.
No, I will. You want a 1v1 Overwatch?
You gonna do Widow headshot only?
Widow headshot only.
Sure, yeah. That
And
would
then after
not.
that, I'll whip you in Soul Calibur
That would not go
again.
well.
After that, we'll do Black Widow only in Rivals. Beat you there.
You might actually. I'm not very good at Black Widow.
After that, we'll do Rocket League 1v1. I'll spank you
Yeah,
there.
you will. I've never won a 1v1 against you. I've never been good at
Then we'll
1v1s
do
anyways.
Ultimate Chicken Horse 1v1.
Is that even a thing?
I'm just trying to get a rise out of you, and you're really not giving me anything here. You're
I
making
just
this no fun.
How are you gonna get a rise out of me when I just explained fully it doesn't necessarily get a rise out of me that I'm like, that
You're
I
too
don't want to play
competitive.
this
I'm trying to
game.
bring the competitive nature out of you.
And we have to be playing the
Bring the
game to be
beast.
competitive. I can't just casually like be like, hey, it's one thing to like talk shit, but it's another thing to be like, if you were to be here and be like, if you were to sit here and be like, I'm a way better thing than you, I'd be like, I don't think so.
That's true too.
It's not though. It's definitely not. My
Your
name on
cute
Marvel
little
Rivals
Lord
really
icon doesn't mean
slob my
anything.
clob. I've dedicated my life to the thing gameplay.
You're right. You were born in the streets.
Dude, Yancey and Silasism go hand in hand, all right? I can hear Aunt Petunia calling my name right now, okay?
Man, the Marvel Rivals season is over next week.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking actually, funnily
Season
enough,
2.
I was
Bet
thinking,
we get Blade.
do you think so? Oh, wait, are they doing like new releases for the characters? Oh, that's cool. I really like.
I don't know if it'll happen right away, but when season 2 starts, there'll be a new character, maybe 2.
That's cool. I really like how they're
Actually, I bet they
they're
do 1 and then
promoting more
another half
characters.
season. Sorry.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of slow, but I don't know. Maybe they won't. They want to keep the momentum up and just fucking release them all.
The developers have said they're gonna crank out new characters.
Would they say like 8 a year or something like that?
I don't remember. But then they also, one thing that really has me interested is they've said they're going to change the power-ups between the team-ups.
The team ups, yeah. Which, dude, I think that's so necessary. I think
So it's like some of them might just go away entirely and then there'll be new ones added. That'd be cool. Like, what a shake-up between the seasons. That'd be cool.
I think that's one of the things that's going to keep the game fresh for a while and it'll change the meta up without having to make huge adjustments to characters, right? Yeah. I think it's a really interesting way to balance the game versus like how games like Overwatch have done it, where you have all these other hero shooters that are like, we have to just make big changes to the heroes individually that can either shape an entire meta or ruin an entire meta, right? Goats immediately died as soon as Brigitte got fucking nerfed into the ground, right? Maybe not immediately, but as soon as it just shifted into double shield, which was just not fun. No one liked that. And like brawl meta, which was, but it's just no one has fun when these things happen. I think instead of doing that, it'll be an interesting thing to be like, well, the heroes themselves haven't changed, but the way that you can play the heroes has changed. That's a really cool aspect, right? Yeah.
Have you heard of the Gator meta?
What?
So there's this team of dudes that started doing.
Is this the 5 tanks?
Gator, go all tank, 1 rocket.
Yeah.
They have 5 tanks and 1 rocket, and they have like skyrocketed up the GM with this strat. And like I watched this short video of it. It was like a trailer to their real video, I guess. Maybe the video's not out yet, but they were gonna like explain everything, how they like you have to strategically ban this person and this person, you pick this person and this person.
Wow.
Rocket, chills like this, does this, he'll get mad heals.
That's hilarious. It always is funny to me. I think about like speedrunners. Speedrunners do this a lot, where they will basically show the devs aspects of their game that they would have never realized, right? I can't remember the game. There was one dev stream that I watched that they were watching a speed run, and they were like, I had no idea you could do that within this game. Like, we had tested the game for months and we had no clue that this was even that it was even capable of doing. I think it was Doom or something like that. That they were like, wow, what? That's crazy. We had no, and just what people figure out and how people push the limits of games. I think about like flip resetting off the ball in Rocket League. That's something that like
true
in the past like 5 years, no one, even like the OGs from the original rocket powered battle cars, whatever the fuck it's called, they had no clue that was even like possible. And to watch the development of it and people just get better, so crazy, man. Oh, so cool though.
I love
Gaming
shit like that.
is, yeah.
Did you ever play Tribes at all? You ever heard of
Yeah.
Tribes?
Oh, yeah. I played,
So
I played
like
Tribes Ascend.
yeah, that one is so
Yeah.
good.
I was terrible at it.
Do you know the
Yeah.
story of like how skiing came to be?
Mm-mm.
So in that game, in Tribes of Sin, I'm pretty sure you just hold down spacebar or like a
Yeah.
button or something, and you kind of skate across the ground.
Yep.
And as you go down a hill, you build up momentum. You can fly, use your jetpack boost, and fly and
Mm-hmm.
sail, and skate.
Yeah.
But in the original, it might have been the first one or the second one. I might be mixing that up a little bit. But they had intended it for it to be just like a large scale combat with a bunch of players and vehicles, big like Battlefield style.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of glitch in the gameplay or in the controls or something where if you I think you bunny hopped, and it caused you to ski across the environment and build up momentum. So the players figured that out real quick. That became the only way to play the game. So then when they released 2, they just made it part of the game, and that kind
Wow.
of became the identity of Tribes. Is the
That's
skiing and the
fucking sick.
jetpacks.
That's fucking sick as shit. That's so cool. I love that.
And then with that they addressed they changed up a lot of aspects of the game to accommodate for it. Now it's about skiing, less about vehicles, less about
Yeah.
large
You're
kind of
flying through the
conflict, but-
goddamn map and shit. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. It's sick.
Dude, that game, some of my best games. Like one of my favorite games of all time. One of the best like time periods of games in my life that I recall was when I was really hot and heavy into Tribes Ascend.
Yeah.
And that game was popping. Oh, so good.
Hell yeah.
It's because if you'd use the spin fuser weapon, which shoots like a big blue disc in a straight line,
Yeah.
but everybody's moving so fast. But if you can lead it and time it right, because it's a projectile weapon, you nail someone in midair with that little blue plate from the spin fuser, and they go pa-ching like a cash register sound, and it would say blue plate special.
Hell
That's
yeah.
just the dopamine you get from that. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. There's again, I think that's another like almost aesthetically without being aesthetic kind of game where it's just like something so satisfying in a game when you find it. One of the most unsatisfying things to me right now is the new goalpost sounds they've added into Rocket League.
What?
I don't like it. I don't like the it's like it's just
There's-
reminding me that I fucking missed, you know?
You have to just keep playing. I'll tell you, when it first came out, the very first time I heard it, I was like, no, this game will not mock me. No, this is bullshit. But then as we just continued playing, it's like that IQ curve, the bell curve.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
no, this is stupid. This sucks. You go up and you're like, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe. Then you go out the other side and you're like, nah, it's pretty funny. It's just telling me that I suck, and I do,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Well, I think I'm at the point now where it's like I don't notice it as much, but when I do notice it, it's always like at the worst. I'm like, fuck, man, I should have had that, or like, oh man, if I had just been whatever. But
It's also just like you said, it's a great dopamine hit, the aesthetically pleasing thing when the enemy shoots a goal.
yeah, and it's
And
like,
it-
oh, yes,
And it's like, oh, you suck,
yeah,
you suck.
okay, yeah, you're right, absolutely, yeah, definitely one of those things where it's a hit and miss.
It goes
But
both ways.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean about just something so satisfying. That used to be me with like Overwatch when I played Widow, and getting the headshots and the headshot noise plus the elimination noise combined was like, oh, that's nice. Just having that,
That's
and then
nice.
hearing it like one right after the other, or like hearing, you know what I mean? Something really nice about that. It's just like you feel powerful. You're like, yeah, I did that. Somebody's typing in chat, oh, Widow's hacking. Oh my God, I loved getting those messages. Those are my favorite. What's it like? I can't believe you're fucking hacking, bro. Like, the funny thing is I'm not. You just suck.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Oh man. I honestly, yeah, I like hacking. I like getting the accusations of like you're hacking.
Somebody clip that. Man just said, I like hacking.
I like hacking. I'm a hacker, man's. I don't know why that reminds me of. So my girlfriend's been doing. She's been working on she did a Minecraft server on our server computer and was working really hard on it, put all the mods together and everything. And she was like, we'd be on the phone or something like, sure, I'm gonna go back to coding, and I'm like, shut up, like. And like I went over to her place and she's like working on the server. I'm like, she's like hacker man's and like fucking got 2 fucking screens up and doing all this. I'm like testing the server. Shut up, babe. And I'm like, whatever. So funny. She's so cute. Oh shit.
You ever see that? There's this video. It's something about the retro encabulator.
Yeah, dude. Tyler showed me that shit.
Yes, dude. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Oh, absolutely. Holy
That video
shit.
was great.
It is great.
I
It is.
couldn't quote any of it to bring it up to make it relevant for the listeners right
Yeah,
now. It's
no.
good. Just Google retro encabulator if you got a free 2 minutes.
Yeah, really. Fucking gotta get Tyler on the podcast to quote it word for word.
He'll just read us the whole thing and then we'll cut him out.
Perfect. Holy shit. Um, Man, in terms of fucking, I feel like we've been talking a lot about games this episode. It's kind of cool. But there was the announcement trailer for the Switch 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you,
I
yeah,
didn't see the trailer, but I read up on the details.
it looks really cool. I think that it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be fun. The one thing that kind of caught me off guard was like they'll have games from the Switch 1 that are compatible, but that means that not all the Switch 1 games are going to be compatible, which
And
I'm
then
like,
some will have an
interesting.
upgrade cost.
Yes. So you have like they're making definitive editions that will have upgrade costs. So if you already own them, you'll have to pay a premium to get the new edition, which is like, that's kind of scummy of Nintendo to do a little bit, I think. I know that when Dark Souls 2, when they did their upgrade thing, they did kind of the similar thing where they were like, we're going to charge $20 because there's but the thing about that is they also added a bunch of content. So that was like, you're basically buying a DLC at that point. But also, Dark Souls 1 did that when they did their remaster. They were like, if you own Dark Souls, we'll give this to you at a lessened price. It's like, okay. I mean, I guess we're paying for the work that's been done. There was a lot of optimizations and it made the game look a lot better. But why not just give me the goddamn game? Okay? I already paid the fucking premium for it. I guess there's an argument to be made on both sides, but
Yeah, they got to make their money, but I don't want to spend my money.
true.
I was surprised when I was reading about the specs on the new one, how it's like a 1080p screen. It's
Yeah.
like 2 inches bigger or something.
Yeah.
But I was surprised when they said it's an upgrade from the original Switch screen, which only runs in 720p.
Yep.
I always knew, just from looking at it, that's a lower resolution than my PC gamer eyes are used to. But I never realized it was 720p. Holy shit!
Yeah, I think you don't really if you've played on a Switch, you don't really notice it because of the smaller screen. I think the bigger the screen, the more that you start noticing the lower resolutions, right? But like,
And also, probably the games on Switch lend themselves more to that
true, yeah,
resolution to not be so ugly at that resolution.
exactly. There's, and I've never played any of the games. I'm very much, I have a Switch Lite, which is it's just, I mean, I have two Switches, funnily enough. I have the regular Switch that I never used, but I have a Switch Lite that I used because back when I used to travel a bunch. And the Switch Lite was just like, you can't hook it up to a dock, so I'm always just playing handheld, and that's kind of how I enjoy it anyways. So I never really looked at games on a TV, and I never really worried about it because I was like, games look fine on this little screen here, and I don't expect them to be extremely, aesthetically pleasing. I just want them to run fairly well and be fun. That's kind of really, what I wanted. But yeah, I think that the upgraded specs are interesting. I'll tell you what, of all the things that I'm excited for, one thing that I really like about Nintendo's live service is they do this thing where they will bring back retro ports of games, right? So they have like the NES, the SNES, they have the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo 64, all with it's not every game, but it's a library of games that they have where you can play the full goddamn game. You could go on there and play Ocarina of Time and whatever you want, right? But in terms of like the most popular games, like I went back and played some of the old Kirby games and shit like that.
Ayo.
What I'm fucking so stoked about, and I'm a little pissed because they won't just do a goddamn HD remake on the Switch. It's fine, whatever. But they're bringing back, they're doing a GameCube port where they'll have the GameCube be, now they'll have all the ports for that. And Wind Waker is one of the first games they're bringing back.
Wind Waker, nice.
Oh my god, dude, one of my absolute favorite games. Such a good game. Oh man, such a good game. Fuck.
Dude, GameCube era was when I like became a little gamer, I would say.
Absolutely.
Wind Waker, Simpsons Hit and Run.
Mm-hmm.
I think I played Prince of Persia on there, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4, which is one of my top games of all time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So many
SSX
games.
Tricky.
As actually bug, yeah,
Need
dude.
for Speed. Not Need for Speed.
Fucking
Burnout.
Burnout, yeah,
Burnout. Yeah,
Burnout.
Burnout.
Oh man, there were so many amazing games. Like it's so funny because like growing up, I got a GameCube first, and then I got a PS2. But like
I
it was
think it was the same for me.
it was one of those things where like all my friends had PS2s or Xboxes. Nope, I had a fucking I
You had the
had
purple
that.
cube.
Yeah, that purple cube. That.
Dude, Smuggler's Run. Did you ever play that?
I feel like I did. It sounds super
Oh,
familiar.
I played the shit out of that on GameCube.
The GameCube was the fucking shit. I really enjoyed the GameCube. I thought that it was such a cool console. The little mini discs, just the games. I feel like the game library was really good. Fucking Mario Sunshine, like oh man,
Mario Sunshine,
some
dude.
great
Ooh.
fucking games.
Double Dash, Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah, Mario Kart Double Dash, fucking dude. Beautiful Joe. I don't know if you ever played Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe.
Such a good game.
Oh,
It's funny
take me
because
back.
there's a our buddy Ramsey was talking to me about a game that just got ported to Steam. That's the same developers. It's like something 101. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. But anyways, it's cool. It's like it has that same aesthetic of like Beautiful Joe, the same kind of art style. But yeah, so many of those games were just so fantastic. But again, at the top of that list for me is absolutely Wind Waker. That I sunk so many. I really wish that there had been like a log of the hours that I sunk into that game because man, I played the shit out of it. Just cruising around the boat, the fucking ocean theme that da 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 da. Oh man, what a great game, man. You're just like cruising through the water and all of a sudden fucking some giant squid pops up and you're stuck in its whirlpool. Oh, so cool. So cool.
That sounds fun. Might have to check that out when it comes. Well, I have a Switch and I couldn't tell you the last time I played it, except for we'll occasionally hook it up to the TV and have like a Mario Party kind of family game night.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, my son just plays. That was obviously quite a bit of Switch playing on the drive to New Orleans and back.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of the, like the most handy things. I mean, now that they have like, you have the Legion and you have the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck and shit like that. Like, yeah, it kind of becomes, there's definitely some competition, and hopefully Nintendo realizes that and kind of has stepped up
But
there.
you can't fully compete with Nintendo.
True. Especially with the
have
IPs that they have. To me, it's just one of those things that like, man, like, there's certain games that I'm like, I love on the Switch, and there's certain games where I'm like, I don't care. I could live without it. And then a lot of the ports, like I'm never going to play any of the ports that they have. I'd rather play them on PC. But I can completely understand, like, for the pricing and for the exclusives that they have, there's still, there really isn't any competition.
Is it still like $20 for a year at Nintendo?
Something
The online
like,
service?
Yeah, I think it's probably gone up to like 40 or 50, but yeah, it's yeah. But that's for like the year, which is it's not terrible, honestly. It's just one of those things that like I don't know. I love my Switch, and but you're right. I don't really, since I don't travel as much, I don't really have a need to play it. Still haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom, funnily enough, but
I never did either.
I like
good game though.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like people are like, well, when the Switch 2 comes out, there's not going to be any available because they're all going to get scalped or they're all going to get bought immediately. But I'm like, man, I'm cool with waiting. I'm in no hurry to upgrade. That's kind of my thing too. Is like, I am in zero hurry. It's kind of the same thing with like the GPUs. Like, I'm in zero hurry to like upgrade anything. It's like, when I get it, I get it.
Man, I gotta tell you, Helldivers 2 on this 5080 was looking crisp last night.
I was gonna say, have you felt it? Have you felt the power being generated now?
Honestly, Helldivers last night was the first time I really got to just crank something up and see what it would really do. Everything maxed out. It was smooth. It was cool. It was great.
You thrown on Cyberpunk? Have you played through Cyberpunk?
I've never beaten it, but I played through a lot of it.
Dude, I think you should start a new save and give it
if I remember
good run through.
Correctly, I think I played up to a point where I was gonna go. There's like some kind of gate that takes you to the end point of the game.
Okay, so you basically got to.
Yeah, I was right there, and I was like, oh, I want to do a couple more of these side missions, and then I'll go do that, and then never came back.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny because you can do almost all of the side content after the first once the map opens up, right? You get to the first basically where you get Johnny, And then as soon as that happens, you can open up the whole map and you'd get to do, again, essentially, like there's a couple of like quest gated where you have to get through the main story to get to that point, but you can do basically the entirety of the fucking game. Fuck it, why
And I
not?
definitely never played with Idris Elba on there, so
Oh man, the DLC is cool as fuck. They added in a lot of cool shit. I haven't finished the DLC, but it's cool as fuck. What I've played of it is really cool. And you just can't lose with Idris Elba. He's just so cool.
just can't lose.
Fuck. I was thinking about too, like Viola Davis. You know who Viola Davis is? Is that another actress?
I want
that
to
I'm
say
like,
yes.
if you have Viola Davis, you can't lose. It's hard to lose with Viola Davis. Fucking fantastic actress. Oh my god, talented motherfuckers out there. God damn. Anyways, but yeah, I think the Switch 2 is gonna be interesting. I know that our buddy Ramsey was talking about how the game, I guess, pricings are kind of high, at least from what has been speculated, like $80.
Yeah.
That's kind of nuts. I feel like it sets a really bad standard for other companies because if you're like I heard
Nintendo can
some
get away with it.
exactly. I heard
Ubisoft can too.
Yeah, I heard the rumor about like GTA 5 being like $100, and people being like, well, again, it just absolutely sets a standard of like, well, if you're willing to pay $100 for GTA, then you're absolutely willing to pay $100 for COD, or you're absolutely willing to pay $100 for whatever other AAA title is coming out.
I mean, we've already been inching closer and closer to that with all of the think of the tiers of games. You get your Assassin's Creed Standard Edition, Assassin's Creed Deluxe, Assassin's Creed Super Ass Assassin Edition, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And those are always, 70, 80, 90, $100. $120, you get this cool statue with it.
Yeah. Well, shit, you'd have at that point. If you're getting a statue or something physical, you're usually having to pay like up in like $200-$300 range nowadays. Yeah, it's not like the old days where you could pre-order $120 Halo thing and get a full fucking helmet. No, those days are long fucking gone.
Take me back.
Yeah, dude, yearning for the old days, like however many episodes that was ago.
The good old gaming days.
It's the aesthetics have changed so much now, where, or I guess the environment has changed so much now where. Yeah, the consumer is getting fucked over more and more, it feels like, in a lot of these situations. It feels bad, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like if we continue to pay for that, there's all these fucking people I always hear about, like, vote with your wallet. If you don't like something, then, don't pay for it. And like, I'll tell you right goddamn now, if the next Souls game is $100, I'm not fucking buying it until summer sales comes around and it goes down to like an actual goddamn affordable price. I'll wait a year and a half. Like, I'm at the point now in my life where like I will wait. I'm completely content. If I don't have the money for it, or if I don't have, unless it's a game that I have to be so fucking hyped for a game, which does not happen anymore. I can't remember the last time I was super stoked for a game, except for like Wilds, but
like GTA 6 sounds dope. I'd love to play it. But I also know it's not going to come to PC right away. So.
Yeah, so we have to wait anyways. Doesn't matter. I don't know, man. I'm just throw my hands up. Whatever. Whatever they do, the industry is going to move however the industry wants to move. We have zero control over it. Whether even if anybody's like, no matter what anybody says. I mean, maybe we do, but no one's going to collectively come together. We're too goddamn divided to be like, hey, let's collectively come together to work together to make changes happen. I don't, but man, that may just be the pessimist in me talking. I don't know.
Is Reggie Fils-Aime still the leader of Nintendo?
Maybe, because I know the Bowser guy stepped down.
Okay, well, whoever is the CEO of Nintendo, I know you're listening. Don't do this to us.
Don't do this, please.
Be cool, man. And if you want to come on the show and like tell us why you think it's cool, please come on. We'll have you. Does he speak English? I assume he speaks English.
Furukawa, is this who it is? Is the CEO? The sixth president of the CEO. Who the fuck was Bowser? Right. Doug Bowser. He's the president of Nintendo of America. Who's the current president of Nintendo of America?
We'll get Bowser in here then.
Yeah, Bowser, get the fuck in here. What the fuck?
Come on, Bowser. Tell me why you think that game's worth $80 or $90.
Dude, I don't know. I do know that FromSoft is putting a new IP up on. It's a Switch exclusive IP, and oh yeah, you're right. It's Reggie. It's Reggie. Wait, no.
Nice.
No, I lied.
Reggie.
No, I lied. He was succeeded. It is Doug Bowser currently.
Come on, Doug.
But no,
Is
I
Doug a Japanese guy?
that no, because it's Nintendo of America. The Furukawa
Oh,
is the actual CEO of Nintendo for Japan.
for some
Um,
reason, a Japanese guy named Doug would just really tickle my sense of humor.
just yeah, I can totally see that.
Doug-san.
Doug's Doug Sama. That's stupid. um, the the one thing that yeah, I hope that I mean again, I'm too pessimistic to want to hope either way. Because if you hope for like, oh, I'm cool, like 70 is pushing it for me. 60 was like a big jump. And that was one of those things that like, man, that's still like, I'll pay the $60, but it has to be
If
a
it's
game that
good.
I want to play, right? But I think that I feel like the industry now has kind of shifted to where you have these more indie games or you have these more like, smaller studio games that are the ones that are blowing up and getting all the funding versus these AAA titles that are just crashing and burning all the time.
Because every
Um,
AAA title right now tries to be a live service game that costs $70 and has
yeah.
microtransactions and a battle pass and a mini battle pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hate how, like everyone tries to come up with their own excuses for why games fail, like on Twitter and stuff like that. It's always just so fucking cringe. Everyone always has some sort of like, political or just non fucking controversial take or controversial. It's always some take that's just like, that's not why the game fucking failed. The game failed because it's just not fucking fun, right? Or the game succeeded because it's fun and it has nothing to do with anything else. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of these like smaller, indie company games are doing really well because people are really fucking tired of just like getting shafted by these AAA games. These like early access releases that aren't even early access releases. They're supposedly full releases that get these fucking, you know, that get these updates that are fixing game breaking bugs. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? I remember Dragon's Dogma 2, which I don't even. I guess you could consider that, or yeah, it was Dragon's Dogma 2. Having that people when people found out like, oh, you only have one save file, but in the future they plan on adding in more save files. That's an insane fucking thing to me.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like just people who play the new COD games and are like, wow, they've made such big changes, and it's like they've added like 3 new guns and put a different. They slightly adjusted the maps that they had in the previous games. Shut the fuck
They
up.
changed your running speed by 0.35%. Come on.
Like, oh my god, it just
Remember the last time I played a COD game?
I played Modern Warfare 2. We
The
played the
remake?
Tarkov mode. I think
Did
you
we?
actually got me that. Yeah, you got me into that because we were tired of fucking Tarkov. And we ended up started playing the Tarkov mode.
Oh, was that the one with DMZ?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was Modern Warfare 2.
Whatever it was, I remember that. I remember playing DMZ. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was all right.
and it was like, okay, this is interesting for the moment, but
Just
like, there's too many
the real
COD sweats in this fucking game.
the real trend of the industry in recent years is what I kind of refer to as like the flash in the pan. Like something comes out, it sparks, and it is the game of the month, and everybody on Steam is playing it. And the next month, you never hear about it again.
True. Yeah. 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 I think kind of there's certain games that have survived that. Like I think Helldivers is a good example of like it had that flash in the
Yes.
pan, but then it kind of settled and like. But then you have other games where yeah, you have that same. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Maybe Power World, honestly, where like they had that flash in the pan and then just kind of died. Like I mean, the
Oh,
devs are still updating it regularly, and they're obviously still creating new content. But like it doesn't nearly have any of the player base that it had beforehand. It has a steady player base of like, a couple thousand or however it may be, but like nothing near of like the 1 million that it debuted at or some shit like that. Like, oh my God.
yeah.
You know,
Maybe they're dating. Sim will come out, and
just
they'll
hit
be
it
hot.
again. Strike gold, lightning strike twice, baby.
Honestly, that might be brilliant marketing by their team. Like that game will come out, they'll get a little money off of that. Some people will say it's ridiculous, but then Power World will be in the headlines again, and
True,
people will
yeah.
go, "Oh, maybe I should go back and play."
I did just say earlier, I was like, man, looking at that makes me want to play Power a little bit
Yep,
because it's fun.
yep.
It's yeah, I
Comes
don't
full
know.
circle.
Yeah, it does. Well, shit, man. I feel like we've come full circle. Did you have a question or anything that you want to ask me? You want to do the hypothetical thing again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I feel like this might play into a little bit of what we said earlier in an amusing way.
Sure.
If humans could live forever,
Mm.
Silas, how do you think your priorities and values would change?
This a really, oh my God, that's a really good question. I feel like your question is so much more meaningful than my fucking dumbass toilet question. I want to say very quickly before I answer this question, because this is a really good fucking question and right up my goddamn alley. I called my mom earlier in the week,
I
and
don't know
she
why that was
goes,
funny. Sorry.
she goes, I'm talking to her, just kind of catching up and stuff. And she goes, by the way, because she watches this podcast like religiously, she watches every episode. And she goes, I was busting out like she was like I was like almost crying laughing when we started talking about the toilet stuff. She was like, I can't believe that's what goes on in my son's head, but also it's really funny. I was like, I listen, you made me, lady. I don't know what to tell you.
It's your fault. This is
Yeah.
happening.
But man, what a fucking incredible question. How would our priorities change? Fuck me. So first of all, I'm gonna give a little personal information. Okay, I have what's called the Nantophobia. At least that's the term that I've found that matches most closely. It's fear of death, basically. I'm sure a ton of people have it.
Oh.
I'm scared. I'm very like deathly scared of dying. I used to have really bad panic attacks. It's something that I've kind of like not necessarily gotten over. I still have issues where like, I have to kind of like settle myself down, but I have a really bad issue of like my own demise. And a lot of it happens to be because it's just like, you don't know what happens after, which is a whole other conversation that we could absolutely have. Not today, right? Because that would be a really long conversation. But it's an interesting like kind of thing that I've learned to cope with. It took me a very long time. Again, I developed a panic disorder because of it. It really fucked me up. But throughout that, I have then now been thinking a lot about like, man, I want to live forever. Because like anytime anybody asks me the question of like, if you could live forever, would you? The answer for me is always yes. Absolutely. I'm cool with just like watching the last speck of fucking sand dissipate from the universe, if that's what it means, right? I'll be there. You know what I mean?
You're just gonna float out there forever?
Here we go. Because you never know. Maybe that starts all over from the beginning. We rewind this VCR tape. I don't know.
Or maybe you just float around bored out of your mind for 1,000,000,000 years.
I think at some point you would end up being able. I feel like after the first 1,000,000 years, or even a couple thousand, you'd be able to develop ways to. If you live forever, you'd figure out how to either keep yourself busy or do some. I feel like you would. There's no way that you would stay static as just like the normal, boring fucking human beings that we are right now. There's either going to be some technological or physiological change that happens within ourselves that's going to make things much different. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong. It could just suck. The world blows up. You're floating through the void forever.
This hypothetical didn't include anything about like humans being any smarter than they currently are. So I
know,
think you're being optimistic.
Listen, if you want to talk about like, anyways, the question is always yes. But if I were to live forever and how my priority change, I feel like for me, man, I feel like for the first like several hundred years, nothing would change. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd be like, I'm playing video games. You know what I mean? I got a backlog of fucking anime and like YouTube and shit that I got to watch, whatever. That would be, I feel like a lot of it. But at the same time, like, I feel like I would start to like try and learn more. I would try and begin to develop skills that have longevity, right? Rather than just like, I guess, man, I always want to expand upon these questions. Like, is my body slowly deteriorating, or is it a static frozen thing? Like, will I be able to like, am I stuck at the age I am now? But then like I could go up in weight, or I could go down in weight, or I could like shape, get into shape and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Get really fat.
I would. I feel
ramifications.
Like. Yeah. I feel like if those are the sorts of parameters that we're setting, then yeah, I think I would try a lot of different things. And I guess I always think about too is like, am I invulnerable? So like if I were to be like, okay, can I go like deep sea diving without the possibility of me like drowning, like, or would I be able to, am I living forever, but I'm still mortal. I'm still like, I could die if the certain circumstances are met. That's the sort of shit that always crosses my mind.
That's exactly where I went as soon as I read this question. I was like, okay, but can I be ripped to shreds by a shark? Am I still alive?
Exactly. That's the kind of like, to me, that's more important than, like, oh, well, what am I going to do with all the goddamn time I have? Well, okay, now I got to be like, well, let me know all the rules to this fucking game. I think in the perfect world, yeah, you're not gonna die to like it would take a lot. Like you'd have to like fly into the goddamn sun, right?
I was
That
thinking like
would
you'd have to
be
explode. You'd have to be just utterly destroyed, but
yeah.
you cannot.
Every
You won't age, and you're not susceptible to
you're
disease.
basically like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, where like every like down to the microbe you have to be destroyed in order to be. Otherwise, you regenerate or something like that. That'd be. I think that would kind of be in my
Now I'm
mind how it would
getting
go. You
now I'm
know
getting the image of Deadpool with the baby legs.
exactly. Oh man, exactly, exactly. Um, I think yeah, in terms of priorities, I think for the first couple hundred years, things probably wouldn't change. I think as society began to change, I would probably change with it, and I'd probably adapt or do my best to adapt. Um, I'm curious as to how my mind would work. You know, is my mind going to start to deteriorate? What happens? What am I going to start forgetting? You know, I think naturally that just kind of happens where as you progress, you know, if you're constantly regenerating, you know, your body, that means that your brain cells are dying and then regenerating, which means that the older memories that you have are probably fading or skewing. Um, you know, just things like that. I think again, maybe like first 1,000 years, I'd say, just gaming, just doing whatever I want.
1,000 years of gaming.
Well, I think about like I feel like at the pace that I'm going, I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be playing video games until like I can't. You know what I mean? Like until I'm like actually like my brain is gone. You know what I mean? Or like you know, even if I've thought about like if even if my hands or anything, like if something happened, like I got, you know, knock on wood, if I had an amputation or anything, whatever, I'm still gonna find a way to I'll play. Dude, I've watched people like play with the fucking tube,
The
like
mouth.
their
Yeah, the
mouth thing,
tube.
or they're like
The
playing with their
feet.
toes or whatever. I'll figure it out, man. Gotta relearn some shit. I'm not gonna be in diamond anymore. That sucks, but I'll
Oh, but you will.
I'll figure it out. But I think eventually maybe my priorities would probably go towards like the betterment because if I'm the only one who's living forever, I would definitely like go for the Warhammer aesthetic of like becoming a god king that's then worshipped throughout time.
I think the way this is worded, because it says if humans could live
Mm,
forever. So
okay.
now imagine the entire race is going to be living forever. Isn't that wild? That's a wild thought.
It is, yeah.
Traditionally, when you think of immortality and stuff, you're like, oh, my family will die, my loved ones, and I'll go on without them.
Yeah.
If everyone is living forever
Hmm.
and disease is not a factor,
Mm-hmm.
I think humans would probably just utterly wreck everything on the earth. They'd be like, global warming doesn't matter. Fuck it.
No,
Drill, baby, drill.
yeah, you say that. I feel like, yeah, I think that would happen. I think there'd be a period of prosperity where we'd be like, yeah, there's no repercussions. Let's start fucking
But then,
expanding into other worlds and whatever. Let's actually, like, now that we know that there is a finite amount of time here on Earth, now we really need to start looking towards the stars and we really need to start looking outwards. However, I feel like that would just lead to the development of like an enhanced development of like how we prepare for war, how we commit war, right? Like how we do war, because then it's like how do we break down someone at a molecular level, and then we would then advance to that point because humans are so self-destructive that we would absolutely do
yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
yeah, it kind of goes exactly with my point. We're just gonna find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but here's my thought. If we can't be, if we have to be like molecularly destroyed, then at
Mm-hmm.
that point we need to figure out ways to get off the planet. We have no idea in this time. I don't know what 1,000 years is gonna hold, but we have no time ability to reach light speed. Right? That's what holds us back from getting to other, faraway planets and things.
Yeah.
So at that point, if you can't die, I need to create a really powerful slingshot and just shoot you out there, and you'll hold that velocity momentum for hundreds of light years until you run
Forever.
into like,
Yeah.
XYZ123 planet that's out there, and you'll let us know. Hopefully you got a radio or something. Are you,
Yeah.
dude, you just throw me a paper airplane back.
I was thinking like you just attach like it will just tie dental floss to you and just like zoom off into the sky.
Hundreds of light years of dental floss.
If we,
You
yeah,
just know there's going to come a day when somebody falls asleep on the job and you float a little too far. And
yeah, and they
your
like, oh shit.
just...
You're like tugging on the string, like, why are they tugging back? you're like talking through your paper cup phone that you brought with you, like, hello, hello.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh shit. I don't. Yeah, man. That's funny, man. I don't know. I
Because
feel
if
like
it,
yeah, we'd be
I'm sorry,
more
I was
willing
just gonna say it's such
to.
an interesting question because if everybody lives forever, I mean,
Well,
money doesn't
okay.
matter.
Now you need to start thinking about like, okay, well, no, no, that's not true. Money would still matter. Greed. Okay, something you have to, I feel like, realize about this is that just because there's a physiological change in humans does not mean that there's a change in human nature, right? So
Fair.
absolutely greed would take the paramount, right? You then have people who are still at the top. Like nothing changed. Like just because, like if tomorrow they came on the news and like, hey, we all live forever, nothing would change in the immediate future other than people would probably there'd probably be a period of like people going kind of crazy. Probably be people going like, oh my god, we live forever, and there'd probably be a lot of religious extremists and probably be a lot of like people being like,
Oh, I didn't
a
even
lot,
think about what that would
yeah,
do to religion.
there'd be a lot of people who would be like, I'm gonna go fucking jump off this skyscraper because I'm just gonna reform. There'd be a lot. I mean, okay, there would be a lot of changes, but in terms of like the basics of like economics and shit like that, none of that shit would fucking change. No one would. There would not be an immediate change of like, unless there was like an uprising, and there was an actual revolution and people did finally come together and be like, we want change, but things would level out and then shift back again to, this like caste system. That's just
We would
kind of
just
how,
we would just do it all again.
yeah.
We'd find a new way to do it all again.
exactly. If you look at humans throughout history and in this tiny, speck of amount of time that the earth has been around and that humans have been on that earth, right? Uh, it's, like I want to say, what was the comparison where it's like, if you put the entire amount of time that life has existed on earth and you add, and you do that as a 24-hour clock, humans have only lived like 3 minutes of that time, right? That's how like not long we've been around.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that since humans have been around, we consistently find a way to demean other humans, right? And to even in modern day, we've always find ways to either demean other people or to put people beneath us. There's always like a, not necessarily an us versus them mentality, but just like a I'm better than you mentality, right? There's this mentality of like, hey, you have this, but I have this, and that makes me better, right? I was born in this bloodline, which makes me just way fucking, have way more opportunity than you. That's just kind of how humanity kind of works for whatever reason. I don't know why, it just does. So I don't think that sort of thing would change. I don't think that we would suddenly magically start working together. I would want that. My buddy the other day said, man, I would really hope, reason would rise through all of the chaos. Not the fucking case, man. It doesn't happen like that. I would love for that to happen. It's not. No, I think there'd be a period of uncertainty. I think there'd be a period of like, like almost like the what was it, the seven things of denial, the 7 stages of denial or whatever it is.
7 stages of grief.
Grief, yeah. Sorry, I don't know why. Denial is a river in Egypt.
Denial is one of the stages of grief.
But so, I think there would be that, and then it would go into like acceptance once we finally get to the end, and then we go, okay, well, and then it just becomes normality, right? People, would start. I think we would start becoming a lot more invested in like human testing and like pushing ourselves to the limits and doing a lot of crazy shit. And I think advancement in humanity would thrive, but I still think there'd be a lot of people suffering. There'd be a lot of people who, would not live good lives. Maybe some point down the line, maybe, yeah, we reach some form of utopia. But I think humanity is not built for utopian living. It's a fucking pipe dream. It's not real. Again, maybe that's the pessimist in me. It just doesn't feel like, doesn't feel like that's
Pessimism.
the way that we'd go. Yeah.
It's hard not to agree with you. It's hard not to agree. But my mentality is a little bit more along the lines of hope for the best.
Yeah.
And expect the worst.
Exactly. I think, yeah. I think that hopefully a lot of people go that route. Hopefully there's more people that have hope and that, I think I'm just a fucking pessimistic guy, honestly.
You're going to say, I live forever? Fuck it. Fire up Marvel.
Dude, listen, again, for me, like, if someone walked up to my door and was like, "Hey, you're gonna live forever now, and unless you're destroyed on a molecular level, you can't be killed," and like diseases, and I'd be like, "All right, cool. Is that it? Is that all you had to tell me? I'm gonna go back in my room and play more video games and hang out with my cat and like, like." I'd be
Jeez.
like, all right, I guess it's time to start learning Japanese or something, or like learning some new languages if I'm going to be
I
around
would
long enough.
instantly, I would instantly have to test it out. I'd have to
Would
like
you?
hurt myself to find out. There's no way.
Ooh. What if they're lying to you and you fucking like, I cut my hand open now and it hurts. Ah.
Well, I'm not gonna like chop my hand off as a test. Just a little prick.
That is, I am curious. Is like, do you have like, how quick is your healing? How quick is your healing factor? Is it like the standard like human like healing where it's like it takes like if you break a bone, it's gonna take you weeks for that to heal, or is
So
it
then what
like
happens when you jump off a building and you just turn into a little puddle on the sidewalk?
and it
It's
takes
gonna
you like months or
like
years?
6 months to like recompose.
Like think about like
Then a dog comes along and eats part of you.
yeah, and then you got to regrow that now, and fucking you get run over. People just don't give a shit. Someone has to like take a snow shovel and scoop you onto the sidewalk.
The people scooper.
The
That'd be a
people
job.
scooper, dude. Hey, listen, eternity brings around some new jobs. You know what I
New
mean? Hell yeah,
opportunities.
new opportunities.
Creating jobs.
Creating jobs.
Stimulating the
Eternity.
economy by jumping off this building.
Yeah. Oh my god. Holy shit. But yeah, had to scoop 4 different people off the streets this week. It's crazy. It's getting crazy out there.
You
These
just like
kids
scoop them
these
into a
days are
jar and let them regrow.
yeah. Oh my god. These goddamn YouTubers and their here's the like think about the YouTubers like here's me here's a time lapse of me reforming my body after having it crushed under a fucking one of those like things that like crush cars. I can think of what the fuck they're called, but like
I'm thinking like a steamroller.
yeah, oh yeah, here's
Just-
me after
just
getting
squishes
steamrolled.
you
Here's
like-
me like reinflating.
Now I'm just picturing Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, I was just about to say like sticks. Oh man. Yeah. I think one way or the other, I think, humanity would figure out a way to fuck ourselves up. We'd figure it out.
Stick with what you're good at, you know?
Yeah, dude. We're really good at it too. We're really good at it. But
Fuck
damn,
all that,
what
dude. Let's play Rivals.
honestly. Yeah, I was gonna say one of the last things I was gonna say is I think that was probably like, in terms of questions, that was a really fucking good question. Fuck me, that was a really good question. Especially compared to my fucking toilet question that I had last time.
It had the opportunity to be so like thought provoking, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
We had a chance there to really get inside the human mind.
Well,
And we reduced it to jumping off buildings and people scoopers.
people scoopers. I feel like we have a really good way of reducing very thoughtful things into just toilet humor and people scooping. Like
That's what you can always count on here at TWM.
that's gonna be the fucking title is toilet humor and people scooping.
We can have toilet in the title 2 weeks in a row.
Oh yeah, well, all right. Potty humor and toilet and people scooping. Get the alliteration in there. PP.
People scooping for the economy.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh man, yeah, we would. Fuck me. One thing, the last thing I want to say, I keep fucking going on, but the last thing I want to say is, I think that's a really good question because it then allows you to kind of see the type of person that you're talking to, whether they're going to be like, I'm a little bit more of a pessimistic person, you have a little bit more optimism about it, so it's just kind of interesting to kind of see, how people would react of like, oh, I think this would be really cool, and I think it would give us a lot of time to grow and change as humans, or be like, I think we're fucked. I think it's over. I think we'll figure out ways to like atomize each other and shit like that.
Honestly, yeah, that's
with
kind
laser
of
beams.
that would just become top priority. The military top priority. Discover how to atomize
Disintegration, yeah. Top of the list,
Yeah.
the big like 3 circles around it.
people. Stop all of
Disintegration.
the research. Figure out
Yeah.
how to disintegrate people.
Yep. And then you have anti-disintegration armor that gets developed. Then you have the regulation of disintegration weapons. You know, you have people making YouTube videos of like trying out the new disintegration cannon from Disintegration Inc. Like, you know, it there's layers to this shit. You could go on and on. It's why like anything that has to do with like immortality, I could talk about. I could do a whole podcast about immortality and just talking about like what I think. My thoughts on different aspects of immortality and living forever and shit like that. And I will leave you with this, is that a really good friend of mine gave me this theory, which is something that I kind of live by, which is you are immortal until proven otherwise. And if you really think about it, that's true. Until proven otherwise, you are immortal. So go out there, get on top of that building, and then don't jump off of it. Go back downstairs. You're not invulnerable. There's a big difference. You're not going to reform, and there's no people scoopers out there who are going to scoop you up. And we will listen.
Cue this video clip getting played in the court case.
No, don't do it. Time moment does not.
TWM recommends jumping off a building.
No, we don't, and we don't promote any people scooping either. That's weird too. Don't just go scooping random people off of sidewalks.
If a person needs scooped,
unless it's your job.
When a friend is in need, you help them, right? If a person needs scooped, you gotta scoop them.
You scoop them.
Be a good person, dude. Time Moment recommends going out and being a good person.
Scooping people. We would listen. Oh, God damn it. We would love to sit here and talk to you about the benefits of scooping people off the streets. That sounds so terrible. We would love to talk about the economic benefits of people scooping. But I think we've reached that point where you look back and go, man, I think that was time well meant.
Go forth and scoop.
I have been dialed in to this drama.
Communication is alpha.